Okay, so it's Monday. It's March 6th. It's 9:15. Just popped over here to pick up a sign and lock box. Thought I would take a few minutes to talk about stuff. So, wish I would have brought my tea with me. So the weekend was good. It was okay. Was not looking forward to coming back to work. Wasn't really dreading it. Just wasn't feeling it. Not too unusual. Especially considering I haven't really been feeling anything the last week or so. Kind of hit a void. I've been working out almost every day, and that's really kind of, I don't want to say consumed me, but it just seems like I've detached from just about everything, and that is one thing that I've kind of locked into that's kind of keeping me afloat here, and it really made me look at some of my personality. This guy's got enough room to get by me here. Personality characteristics and some of the things that that affect what I do and how I do it, how I live my life, how I experience my life. And it hasn't been a pleasant week or so. I haven't really felt excited, haven't really felt joy, happiness, any of those things. I haven't been angry, really. I really just kind of felt like I kind of hit a dark spot. And by dark spot, I mean it's not a lot of illumination that's allowing me to appreciate or experience beauty. And it's causing me to kind of fixate on some details, which I've been, like I said, kind of analyzing myself, because this has been an unusual patch here the last couple of weeks. And I go through ups and downs just like anybody, and sometimes mine are extreme. But I've been pretty even-keeled. I've been pretty balanced. And I'm always in a pretty stable, well-balanced state when I'm exercising, when I'm getting some physical exercise, some conditioning, and things aren't just building up. I don't become stale. I don't become stagnant. I don't feel like I have the last week. So it's a little bit odd, but I've really been pushing the limits on my weightlifting. And trying to go, like I said, trying to go every day. And didn't go yesterday, but that's, we took a break on Sunday last week too. And you got to take a break every once in a while. So, but I mean, again, it's more fixating on the details, on the numbers. You know, how many sets did I do? How many reps did I did? How much weight did I do? You know, and am I making steps forward? Am I making improvements every week? And am I pushing those limits? Am I pushing those limits to, you know, I can just barely do this, and willing myself through it? And that's where I've been. And I've really kind of suffered some side effects from it, because it's really been exhausting. On the days that I really, really push myself with the weights, the next day is I mean, I'm almost like a zombie. And I may have done a little bit about talking about that over the last couple of weeks as I've been pushing those limits.
New SMS from Rhonda. Press Uconnect phone button. Do you want to read or send messages?
Read.
You have 1 new messages and 9 old messages. New message 1 from Rhonda.
You didn't say goodbye.
You have 9 old messages. Would you like to listen to them?
I did say goodbye. She was on the phone. I waved at her and stood at her desk. She wasn't paying any attention to me. Anyway. So I've kind of, like I said, been in this void, but the details are what I've been fixating on, which has been allowing me to fill time. And I started going back through my life and how I become. I am extremely obsessive and somewhat compulsive. Compulsive is definitely on the minor side, and I hear people say this all the time. I'm OCD. I'm OCD. I'm OCD. This is my way of doing this because it's, I don't know. It annoys me that it's such a commonly used phrase and it's tossed around like that, but I am and can become extremely obsessive, and it's times like this where it's definitely more of a dominant factor in my life. So things like the cruise, taking the cruise or the vacations, and I find these things to fixate on. Back to the office. It's people that were supposed to be moving in here, supposed to be picking up keys at the office and coming straight here, I think. So I got what I needed and I'm heading on out. So I've been very aware of my obsessive tendencies, and the compulsive tendencies, like I said, are more minor, but they're there as well. I don't think they're an issue. They don't really affect the way I live my life. I think they help shape the way I live my life. And when I get in these situations, these circumstances, these down cycles, these dark periods in my life where I just feel detached from everything and I don't feel part of this world. I don't feel like I have a place. And that's where I've been the last week or so, or maybe even more. It's hard for me to connect with anything, but the details are always there. So the last week I have not been able to put any kind of thought, effort, focus on writing the book. I really tried to push it on Saturday morning. I got up early, and not by choice. The dog woke me up and I couldn't go back to sleep, so it was like 7:30, and I needed something to do to take up time. And I'm like, this is when I usually can write. This is usually when I can sit down and make stuff happen. I can get into that mindset and generate something of value towards completing the book. And but I couldn't. I just couldn't get into that. Like, no matter how much I tried to force it, and I just let it go. So I shifted to, again, my obsessive nature, because I had been obsessing the entire last week over guns. A week or so ago, I don't remember what day it was, I've been talking about taking this basic handgun course for over a year now. I bought the handgun that I currently have, my first gun, in February of last year, and I was going to take basic handgun course the same week I bought the gun, and it just didn't work out. I didn't have the money. It didn't fit my schedule. And every month come around, and there's like 2 classes a month that are offered at the gun shop where I purchased the gun. And I would say, all right, well, I got vacation this month, or I'm doing this month, or I'm doing this month, and every month I got pushed back, and I would feel like, all right, well, I'd still like to do that. And every once in a while I'd look and I'd see the gun down there in the box, and I'd be like, yeah, you know what, I'd really like to fire that. I would really like to. I mean, I do have a strong fascination with firearms, and class was going to be on Sunday, and we have the one gun, and I knew I needed to get more ammunition for it because we were, according to the website, supposed to fire 100 rounds each, and but I became obsessed with having a second gun so that we each had one, and I worried when I bought the first one that I would be inclined to buy more because I'm obsessive, and I really hadn't given it much thought the whole year, other than, all right, I want to take that class every once in a while. But man, I really just want to take it out and fire it. I like to go to the range and just shoot, just something to do. But all last week I was like, I want a second gun. I could probably be comfortable spending up to $300. I'm sure I can find one for less than that, and I became obsessed with it. Google searches, checking different store inventories, reading reviews, trying to find a good firearm at that price, and reading, the stats on it. This one is, this big, it weighs this much, it's made out of this, it has these options, it holds this many rounds, and going through and reading all this information and going back through and rereading it and comparing one to another, and then reading reviews on those and going back and researching it again. And Friday night, all I wanted to do is I wanted to go gun shopping. So we got home, nobody really felt like doing anything. It was kind of dreary, and it was kind of blah. And so I was like, fine. So I went to Academy, and I looked at what they had available there, and I researched what, because none of the ones that were there were ones that I had researched, and I was like, all right, well, I didn't really 100% care for what they had in the price range I was in, but there was a couple that was like, that might work, but I wanted to see other ones. So when I got up on Saturday and I could not bring myself to do anything, what I really wanted to do was go to the gun shop. So the gun shop opened at 9, and at 9 o'clock I left the house and went to the gun shop. And I looked at a few of them that I had researched during the week. I had a couple other ones pointed out to me and identified, and again, it just became obsessed with the details involved with all those different types of guns. There's so many out there, and it's just one of those things. It's a hobby, I guess. It's something that I can use to occupy my mind when my mind feels void, and that I can fill it with all this information and these details. So all last week was completely obsessed with gun knowledge, and then that carried over into the weekend, and then we went shooting yesterday, and now I'm even more obsessed with it. I can't stop thinking about it, and I want to buy more guns, and I want to go to the gun range, and I want to fire more guns, but it's something, again, it's like my mind is trying to latch onto something just to keep it afloat, to keep it buoyant, because I feel like I'm just gonna float away and be lost in oblivion somewhere if I don't anchor myself with some type of information. And the more I thought about this over the last week, the more I identified that pattern in my life of filling voids with data, information. Why I become obsessed with planning a vacation, and what's the characteristics of this compared to that, and what's every attribute that, and then I just keep filling my mind with more and more and more and more data about that until I finally make a decision, and then it comes about, and so on and so forth. It was the same thing in November when we were looking for new appliances, and I was researching every appliance package out there again, and it helped me see my tendency to become obsessive in a different perspective, and almost see a necessity in there, because there are times that it's just a loss, and then it just seems like everything is pointless. So trying to get through these cycles in my life seems like it is become increasingly difficult as I get older. These empty periods, and just waiting for something to shift, either inside me or externally, whatever is the cause of this reaction. And I'm not trying to force anything. I'm not trying to push myself out of this. I'm just letting it go naturally, which I always do. But it makes things like getting up and going to work very difficult because I just don't see the point. So anyway, it's been a kind of a rough week to deal with because I've been living in that period, in that cycle, in that dark space. I am susceptible to distraction during these periods. I don't know if that's the best way to term that. I have a set of principles, a set of morals, the way I live my life, an understanding, my philosophy, my core values. During these periods of detachment, I don't feel attached to those values. I don't feel attached to those core beliefs. It's like my foundation is no longer there, and I'm just hovering, which, without being anchored, without being standing on steady ground, it leaves me potentially being drawn or lured into other things, and those other things always seem to be, well, it's just different. So the bad thing is some of those things could be, well, they're not could be, a lot of them go against those core values I have and that foundation that I live on. And I find myself sometimes having to resist the temptation to disregard those values and those beliefs and just indulge. I think that is a very accurate term, because that's exactly what I feel like I want to do, is I want to indulge in the possibilities of this 7 hours. What I really just want to do is put the car back into gear and just drive.